To my kitchen. We have the little carnivore here asking for treats while we cook some plant-based burgers. So we have some Beyond Meat burgers, and I have a good friend of mine. She's going to flip the burgers. And these are pea-based burgers, and there's a lot of plant protein in them. They're Beyond Meat. They're delicious. And one of the things I have always done is I always like to put a little bit of soy sauce or tamari. I like this low sodium tamari. And my dear friend Amy, she's gonna put about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon on. Yeah. Up some sizzle. And then you kind of get the spatula and work it around so it gets all over the burger. Yeah, it's really good. And sometimes I use Bragg's amino acid, which has tons of amino acids in it. It tastes just like soy sauce. It's just a little bit saltier. And then we can also put some delicious vegan cheese. Today I'm using Daiya mozzarella shreds. And they make two kinds, different packages. They taste completely different. They're both delicious. And we can load on that mozzarella. I normally use chow cheese, spelled C-H-A-O. But guess what? I ate it before I could do the video, and I didn't have any more left. And then we can just cover up this and let this melt and cook on the other side. And we're going to talk a little bit more why did I stop eating meat 30 years ago or 29 years ago? And it was a gradual progression. I only ate wild game. I didn't want to eat anything in a cage. Come on with me, Amy. I'm going to go through my house and sit at the table while that's cooking away, and we're going to look at some of the accoutrements that go with it. So I only ate wild venison when my dad caught it. And that was it. And some fish when somebody else caught fish. And then I just gave up all that. But anyway, we're going to serve some delicious things with the burgers. We're going to, I have some probiotic beets. They're cultured. And we have some grilled onions and tomatoes and cilantro. And then some dried onion topping, the kind you put on those string beans. And I'm going to serve up a little bit of vegan mayo with that. I got this one called Just Mayo and this delicious hot mustard. And we like to eat on pretty things. You know, no paper plates in this house. I forgot to get the tomatoes. So we're going to go back to the stove and say hi to Francesco, the king. And this is just starting to melt really well. And we're going to serve this up with some delicious organic heirloom tomatoes and some regular beautiful non-GMO tomatoes. Unfortunately, they didn't have organic ones, but at least they were non-GMO. And you're going to say, well, why? What is this non-GMO thing? And if you do not buy a non-GMO tomato, non-genetically modified, most likely the tomato that you see, if it were genetically modified, it wouldn't even be considered vegetarian. And you're saying, how is that possible? That would not be vegetarian. It's a tomato after all. Well, there's a couple things with genetically modified food. And Francesco needs a treat. Oh my gosh, there's a treat in this cabinet. So, first off, when you have a genetically modified tomato, they alter the DNA with shrimp and or pigs. So they use shrimp to get the pink color. Sometimes you see that shrimpy pinky color on some of the tomatoes they started doing in the 1980s. There's really bad tomatoes they would serve in the restaurant that taste like nothing. So they do that to keep the pink color, and they would add the pig DNA to have the thick skin. So it would last on the shelf really long. And what happens when you have a tomato on the shelf for weeks? Well, it has no nutrition. The other thing that genetically modifieds do is they alter the DNA so they can withstand huge amounts of Roundup weed killer, so that the plant will survive and all the weeds will die, because it can survive huge amounts of pesticide. So do you want to eat something with huge amounts of poison in it? No. So I always buy these beautiful yellow heirloom tomatoes, and I make sure, if I'm not buying those heirloom tomatoes, that I'm at least, Amy's got one right here. This is gorgeous. That I at least, if I can't find organic, I at least buy non-GMO. A few months ago, if you bought an organic tomato, it was already considered naturally, non-genetically modified. But, all right, we are ready to plate it up. But nowadays, the laws have changed, the policies in DC have changed, and you have to also check and ask the store, are these non-GMO, or these organic tomatoes, are they also non-GMO? Because I'm not sure. It's not labeled that way. And there's ways you can check with the codes. Anyway, we're going to plate it up, and we've got some beautiful sunflower seed bread. Yeah. Amy, we're going to have a delicious lunch together. It's going to be great. And I hope you enjoyed watching my lifestyle video. There's many lifestyle tips. We had one on new moon manifestation. It's relevant for any new moon. Gives you a lot of information. Yeah. And I'm gonna grab the tomatoes, and we're gonna head out to the dining area. And Francesco has his treats. He's a happy guy. You know what, Amy? We could put, this is what we can do to elevate that. We can put that right on there.
Okay.
It'll work. And then we can plate it up, and we can add these tomatoes. We have arugula. I drizzled a little bit of olive oil. Ooh, could you get me some the olive oil on there? Because it's really good when you drizzle the olive oil on the bread. So I really hope you're enjoying watching my lifestyle videos. I'm going to have another little mini cooking session on easy, delicious cauliflower. Yeah. And I drizzle that. Just drizzle it on the bread. It's so good, just like a W or an M. And it really makes everything taste better. And a little bit on the arugula. Yeah. And tomatoes. I like Kalamata olive oil. Mine's from Trader Joe's. So, and we're also going to do a beautiful little face scrub. So stay tuned in, and don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you. Thank you.